Happy Sunday. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. We are still here in the Fort Lauderdale airport. Oh my gosh, area. I have been experiencing symptoms of mold toxicity in the place we rented. So that's been super fun. So now we're moving out of this place. They won't give us a refund. We're moving out of this place and trying to find another place. It's been quite a couple of weeks. I'm very much looking forward to having our house back. But hey, it's Sunday. It's relaxing time. We were going to go to a movie today. Hopefully we still get to go. I really want to see Long Shot. Have you guys seen it? Awesome. Hello. Good morning, Maggie. Amanda, Curly for Good, Mom Scott. Hey guys. Hey Pam. Hi Anne. Okay, so we got YouTube up here. We got Instagram over here. I'm going to be reading from my book, the Keto Diet Cookbook. If you guys don't have a copy yet, what the heck? You can order it basically anywhere. You can pick it up at most bookstores. In Canada, it's at Costco. You can get it at Target in the US, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. Basically all bookstores has got this bad boy. Some of you guys are asking, where's the house? Well, I live in a sailboat full time, and we're doing a refit on our boat, which wasn't even a big refit. It was just we needed to get some work done. We had to stay off the boat for a couple of days. It was supposed to be 3. It's been 4 weeks, and there are no places that accept 2 humans and 3 dogs. So they've been going in and out of care. And now we're in this house, which is filthy, and there's mold on the walls, and I'm starting to react to it. And I feel like hot garbage. So it's time to move. For those watching who are like, mold symptoms, what? Yeah, it's a real thing. Black mold especially is super bad for you. And you'll get joint pain, headaches, sinus pain, nosebleeds, some telltale signs that there's mold in the house. And it's a pretty serious thing. Like, you shouldn't just hold on for dear life and hope it goes away, because it won't. Okay, so going to be reading from this bad boy today, the Keto Diet Cookbook. I've pinned the topic that we're going to be covering today on Instagram: oils, proteins, sweeteners. And if you're like, where do I get this beautiful book? You can go to ketodietbook.com for all the details on where to find it, but it should be in most stores all over. And it's pretty easy to spot. And I did that on purpose. And this is a virtual tour event. So I'm going to be doing these, or have been doing them since the beginning of April, where I'm reading from my books. I haven't read from my first book here, but this guy's my first one. I've been reading from this bad boy. And then I've also been reading from my upcoming book, Keto for Women, that comes out June 18th. And all these virtual events are sponsored by Perfect Keto. And really all that means is that you guys get a sweet coupon code for watching. And that is cookbook20 to get 20% off any of their full size products. So if you have a cart filled with Perfect Keto goodies and you're like, nah, I don't want to pay all that money for that, now you have a 20% off coupon code. It's a one-time use. So cookbook20. Awesome. Okay. I'm reading from page 57. And okay, so a lot of cookbooks actually have this front matter content where they talk about ingredients, how to swap out ingredients and things like that. And nobody ever reads these. And it's crazy to me because they're always so, so good. So I thought that I would read to you guys today and give you some background on oils that I use, how I store those oils, foods that I use, proteins especially. And if you guys have any questions throughout the video, feel free to post them below and I'll answer them as we go. Okay, so it's easy to go overboard, on buying oils, but it doesn't need to be this way. All you really need is one oil that's safe for cooking and one that's best for cold uses, like salad dressings. In the recipes throughout the book, I sometimes list various options for fats. You'll see ingredients listings like 3 tablespoons of avocado oil, coconut oil, or ghee so that you can decide. None of them is the best option. Use whichever one you'd like. In addition to butter and ghee, as outlined in the dairy, non-dairy options section on pages 54 to 56, these are a few fats that I use throughout the book that you may find helpful to have in your pantry. My favorites listed From most readily available and versatile to the least. Okay. Checking for questions. Cool. Oh, I'm also going to tell you a little bit, maybe I'll do this after I read, about dairy. So I've started incorporating dairy into my ketogenic diet, and I thought I wasn't reacting to it, but I massively have, and it took like almost 3 weeks. So I'll get to that right after I read this. Okay, so the first one is coconut oil, which I find is really good for cooking and baking. Coconut oil is readily available, which is why it's my #1 recommended oil. You shouldn't have a problem finding it. You could use lard, tallow, butter, ghee, or cacao butter in its place. You want me to say that again? You could use lard, tallow, butter, ghee, or cacao butter in its place. So if you don't like coconut, there is a really, really easy way that you can swap it out. Butter flavored coconut oil for cooking and baking. If you can't do butter, but you want the butter flavor, there are many coconut oils that are flavored with plant extracts to produce a buttery taste without the dairy. Anywhere where ghee or coconut oil is called for, you could use this butter flavored coconut oil in its place. It's a fairly common item at supermarkets and doesn't have the unhealthy processed oils that many of the butter substitute on the market have today. My favorite brand is Nativa. So you can get this butter flavored coconut oil at Costco or Thrive. That's where I buy it. When will I translate the cookbook into Portuguese? As soon as a lot of people buy it. So the way it works with books is that it needs to get to a certain amount of sales in order to translate. So the more people buy it, the more options there are for translation. I'm allergic to avocado. I've been using olive oil for cooking. Is that not okay? Okay, so like, I'm going to reference my other book because this bad boy has all the answers when it comes to oils and smoke points. I don't necessarily recommend cooking with olive oil. Now, do I do it? Yeah, because it tastes really good, but it's not the best option. I know it's here somewhere. If anyone knows the page number, where is it? I know it's here. In the Keto Diet, my first book, I talk about what oils to cook with and smoke points of those oils. I used to know these page numbers off by heart, but I have other things in my brain now, like where I'm going to live tonight. Let's see. But anyway, in the Keto Diet, I talk about this. Oh, thank God. Page 138. So I go through a whole table of fats and which ones are best for cooking and such. So if you're using olive oil, extra virgin, the smoke point's 320. It's good for salads and light finishing. You store it for 6 to 12 months in a dark bottle, cool place out of direct sunlight. The monounsaturated fat content 74%. You want to look for, and there's this little guide when it comes to it. So you want to look for organic, cold pressed, extra virgin, and unrefined. Now, it's really tasty to cook with olive oil, so I do cook with it, but I know that if my joints start to hurt and things like that, it can cause inflammation. So, I mean, your best bet for cooking, if you want to avoid avocado, is something like a refined olive oil. Now, when you go for a refined olive oil, make sure you get an expeller pressed, naturally refined olive oil, and that should be okay. There are no dogs whining. They're all sleeping. Could be birds. There's a lot of birds out right now. Those are going to be your best bet. Now, if you also want to cook with things like, if you're trying to avoid avocado, ghee, palm kernel oil, red palm oil, hazelnut oil, tallow or suet, macadamia nut oil, chicken fat, or also known as schmaltz. You got duck fat, goose fat, cacao butter, oil, lard or bacon grease, butter, and coconut oil that you can all cook with. So there are lots of options, but like sometimes a girl just wants to eat olive oil and cook with it, and that's your choice. Okay. Avocado oil for cold uses, cooking and baking. Avocado oil is the most versatile oil of all the oils. Like, this is like my go-to. No, I'm not saying you need to avoid avocado. I think there was just a question about an avocado allergy and how to swap it out on your ketogenic diet. Please don't avoid avocado if you don't need to. Is the most versatile oil of all. It's awesome on salads and great for cooking because of its high smoke point. There are refined and non-refined options. I prefer refined because it doesn't contribute an avocado oil flavor, or an avocado rather, flavor to recipes. My favorite brand is Chosen Foods. You could use olive oil in its place for cold recipes only. So we just chatted about this. Being allergic to egg and avocado and almonds really makes things harder. I have to modify so much. It makes it hard. I totally get it. I'm sensitive to a lot of things too. And it could be worse. You could be allergic to all nuts and all seeds. I can't wait to get my book from Amazon. Awesome. Is there a difference between cold pressed and first pressed? I saw it on a bottle of EVOO once. Okay, first cold pressed, as far as I know, it was cold extracted first, and then it was, what's the word for it? Okay, so there's expeller pressed, centrifuge extracted, and cold pressed. These are like the 3 key words to look for. If it said first cold press, it means that they cold pressed it first, but then used an extraction method that isn't approved, usually. Now, the problem with oils is that people can use a bunch of different words to explain different things, and they can get away with stuff. So I spent almost 3 weeks researching these 2 pages for my first book. And I can tell you that the keywords to look for are cold pressed, centrifuge extracted, and expeller pressed, period. That is what I look for. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, because it gets really complicated, and a lot of companies use different words to say bad things without it sounding bad. So those are like the 3 things I look for always. Okay. What fats are best to start keto again to help you transition in timing? All the fats. I know that's kind of like a stupid answer, but like the only thing you can do to get your body back in keto is to eat keto and eat fat. And there aren't any like better fats. It really depends on your genes. Some people respond best to saturated fats over monounsaturated fats, and some people choose to do more monounsaturated. Like it totally depends on your body. So there's not one thing that's going to get you anything in life, sadly. Okay, olive oil for cold uses, great for making your own mayonnaise and for adding to dressings. This oil is best used for recipes that are not cooked. I opt for extra virgin olive oil, preferably organic. If I'm making mayonnaise, I like using a light olive oil with minimal flavor. My favorite olive oil is Kirkland brand from Costco. Cacao butter. Now, remember I said the further we get down the line, the harder it is to find this stuff, and cacao butter is definitely harder to find than other options. Cacao butter, which is the fat from chocolate, is a little bit harder to find than the previous fats, and it's a bit more expensive than the other options. I purchased mine from Amazon, and you're looking for a raw, unrefined, food-grade variety. Do not okay, the first time I bought cacao butter, I bought cacao butter cream, like body cream, and I cooked with it, and funny story. I made fat bombs with it. And then I ate, like, I had like a bite of fat bomb at the same time as Kevin, and he's like spat it out. He's like, "What's in this?" I'm like, "It's cacao butter." And he's like, "It tastes like lotion." It was lotion. So make sure you buy a food grade cacao butter. MCT oil powder for cooking, baking, and drinks. MCT oil powder is made from spraying MCT oil on acacia fiber, a highly soluble fiber that's sourced from the sap of the acacia tree. It's different from MCT oil in that it's fully incorporated into it can fully incorporate into recipes without leaving a pool of fat behind. I don't particularly like MCT oil for this reason, and because it causes digestive distress in many people. But MCT oil powder doesn't have this effect. Consider more of it like a supplement. It's a great way to add fat to recipes, including baked goods, drinks, and however, it's not essential to a ketogenic diet. I love MCT oil powder, and it totally has a place in my kitchen, but it does not need to be there. It's fine. How many grams of day per day do you recommend for ladies? I'm guessing you're asking how many grams of fat per day, and that really depends on your goals, your body composition, how often you work out, if you do work out or not, what kind of workouts you're doing. I put a really, really awesome chart and calculation in Keto for Women that's coming out in June that kind of goes through everything. What brand of cacao butter do you like best? I honestly don't even know the brand. Terrasol, maybe, is what I have right now. I have no commitment, and I say this over and over again. I have no commitment to my cacao butter choices or my collagen choices. I will literally choose whatever is cheapest and is food grade quality. Yeah. Okay. Lard is another great oil. I don't really call for it in the book, but it's one of the best. I will address alcohol, but today we're chatting about fats and proteins. So I will make a note to chat about alcohol this week. I use a company called Dry Farm Wines for my wine, and I'll be going through a bunch of things about wine and alcohol later this week. So hold tight. Cool. I didn't use lard in the book, but it is one of the most inexpensive fats, and you can render it yourself and actually save a bunch of money doing it. So I did include it in this list. I suggest a suggested replacement item for coconut oil, ghee, or avocado oil in cooking. Lard is best used in savory dishes or when baking cookies, muffins, or cakes. It's highly saturated, offering richness to the dish it's added to. Lard is easy to find online, or you can make it your own by asking your butcher for unrendered fat, placing the fat pieces in your slow cooker and cooking on high for 3 to 4 hours. Bits of protein will need to be strained afterward. They're delicious to just eat. I used to do that all the time. The rendered fat will keep in the fridge for months and is quite cost effective too. I explain how to render your fats in this bad boy. See, like I try not to duplicate content, so you'll never find the same thing in another book. So you kind of need all of them if you want all the things. And I only do that because how pissed would you be if you bought this book and then a couple years later you bought this book and then it was the same stuff? You'd be angry. So that's why I do that. Garlic infused oil. Now this is a great strategy for people that react to garlic. I reacted to garlic forever. Hey, a mold toxicity issue. I was exposed to mold for like a year in a house I was living in, and my digestion really got nailed hard for like the whole year. And so I couldn't eat garlic or onions for years. And so I used garlic infused oil, which you can make yourself. There's a recipe in this bad boy. But I say garlic infused olive oil or garlic infused oil is just that, oil that's been infused with garlic, usually made with olive oil. If you're sensitive to garlic, as is the case for somebody on a low FODMAP diet, garlic infused oil can add garlic flavor to a dish without causing digestive distress. Another super awesome tip is that, you know, when you like cut up garlic and you put it in a salad dressing and then there's like a big piece of garlic and you chew down on it and you're like, dang, I didn't cut the garlic enough. I like using the garlic infused olive oil in recipes because it's just really, 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 really simple and good and easy, and there's no big chunks and it tastes just like garlic and it's awesome. Okay, now on to sweeteners. Wow, I think I like bit off more I could chew with all this stuff, but we'll try to get through it. There are many keto-friendly sweeteners to choose from, but I have opted to use the most common ones to keep you from running all over the city. My favorite sweeteners are erythritol and stevia. Now, I have other favorites, but I paneled you guys on Instagram and you said that you only wanted me to use erythritol or stevia in the book, so that's what I did. Now, in all the recipes, if I call for erythritol, I also call for stevia. And if I call for stevia, I also call for erythritol, and I also give you options on what to use if you just don't want to use anything, aka how to just do it unsweetened, because there are so many needs and I try to meet everyone where they are, but sometimes I miss the mark just because everyone is so individual, and that's okay. So with erythritol, and I'm not going to read from this because it'll take me forever and you guys don't have time for all of that, but I'll just kind of give you the Coles Notes version. With erythritol, you have either confectioner style erythritol or granulated erythritol. I bake with granulated, but I do like dressings and things like that with the confectioner style, which is like powdered erythritol. The brand I really, really like is Swerve. It's what I've always used. I really like them. The company's awesome. I've met them in real life. They're cool people. It helps. Stevia liquid. Now, I only use liquid only because it's easier and I find it tastes better than the powder. My favorite one is stevia glycerite from Now Foods. That's the only one that doesn't taste like metal grossness to me. Cool. Sweeteners done. Protein. There are ample ways to hit your protein requirements on keto, and a lot of them are pretty straightforward. Muscle meats, organ meats, seafood, eggs, and dairy if you can tolerate it. But I have some other protein options in the recipes that may be unfamiliar to you, so it's worth a little introduction. Okay, so the first one is collagen peptides, and I've included recipe links, like little references here, so you can see how collagen is used. If you really don't want to supplement with collagen on your ketogenic diet, that's fine. Just add protein powder or don't. Like, it's fine. It just adds protein to a recipe, but you don't have to. You could even add egg whites to like most things. Like, I've added egg whites to the Hey Girl. I've added it to the, what did I call this? The Ultra Green. I've added it to the chilled chai and also to the vanilla shake. So you could easily add egg whites if you're comfortable with eating raw egg, which I've never had a problem with it ever. But I'll leave that up to you. Oh, I just wrecked my book. Oops. So collagen peptides and or protein powder. All of the recipes call for either or, so you guys can decide. And then gelatin. Now, I didn't use this too much in the book, but I do like to include it in some recipes because I find like all of us health nuts have like a tub of gelatin with all the best intentions of using it, and we never do. So I included a couple of recipes on how to add gelatin. Crushed pork rinds. Guys, seriously, if you're finding it hard to hit your protein goals, cover everything in crushed pork rinds, and they have protein, and they're also fatty, and they're just so perfect. Bone broth is another good one. My favorite brands are Kettle and Fire and Bonafide Provisions. I'm leaning more toward Kettle and Fire right now, only because I don't need to freeze or keep their food or keep their product rather in the fridge. And for somebody who lives in a sailboat and doesn't have a lot of space and can't order food all the time, committing to having that much Bonafide broth in my freezer at any given time is just like, it's cramping my style and I just can't keep up with it. So I enjoy Kettle and Fire. I also like that Kettle and Fire are lower in price, but the quality is not as good as Bonafide. Does anyone know if pork rinds are carb-free? They are. Bone broth. And then bacon. There are all sorts of bacon choices out there. Oh, my light is doing something funky. That was really strange. There are all sorts of bacon choices out there, some better than others. If your budget allows, opt for uncured, nitrate-free bacon. My favorite brand is Pedersen's Natural Farms. A quick tip: to make crispy bacon, cook it in the microwave. Oh, the best. So maybe next time we'll talk about pantry goods. I'm just gonna tab this. And then also there was a recommendation to talk about alcohol, which is in Keto for Women. So I'll read. I have no idea why my phone is just like shaking in light. This is so strange. It's like a dance party. Oh, oh, oh. Is this happening to you guys too? Like, this is nuts. That is so weird. Okay, if it's not giving you a seizure, hopefully it's not. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Is it happening for you guys too? It's like, okay, I'm gonna try to cover up my. See? This is why I should have got a Samsung. I got a Google phone like almost a year ago, and this guy said that it was so much better than a Samsung. Okay, I gotta do this. Hold on. We just need music. I have no idea why this is doing this. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. Instagram. It's probably my Google phone, honestly, guys. If you're debating between a Samsung and a Google phone, please just get the Samsung. You won't regret it. Google phone, I hate it so much. For those watching on YouTube, my Instagram is like doing a light show. I don't know what's going on, but you guys are. Thanks, Jimmy. I wish I had like rave music or electronica music on my phone. Oh boy, guys. Okay, so we're going to be talking about alcohol this week. We're going to be talking about pantry staples. We're going to be talking about how to store food. If you guys, I'm not an iPhone fan. I'll never go back to an iPhone. I love Android, so that's where I sit with that. If you guys have recommendations about ways that you'd like me to share my books with you or topics that you want me to cover, I'll be happy to do so. I'm planning on doing 2 lives this week. So we'll do one on alcohol for sure. And then if you guys have any recommendations, feel free to let me know. I was reading from this bad boy. Let's do it like this. Woo, 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 woo. I was reading from this bad boy today. So if you guys don't already have a copy, you can grab it at any bookstore. It's in Costco in Canada. You can go all throughout the US and grab it. And if your store doesn't have it, ask them to carry it. Or you can just go to ketodietbook.com. This is like so distracting to me too. You guys can go to ketodietbook.com to check out ways that you can purchase it. I was also referencing page 138 and 139 from this guy about fats. This is awesome. And I'm going to go try to figure out how to check out of this house that has mold and find a place for my dogs and my family. It's like a party. I'll see you guys later, and hopefully my phone doesn't do this next time. And thanks so much for hanging out with me, guys. And I'm really sorry for this light show. Oh, and I'll have to tell you the dairy-free story another day. So hold tight for that. Just know that just because you reincorporate dairy on your ketogenic diet doesn't mean the symptoms show up right away. And I'll tell you the full story, hopefully this week in one of our lives. I'm going to get off before I have a seizure. Or you do too. Okay, bye. I really should have had music playing. I can't even end this. Oh my gosh. Oh, what a mess. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. See you later. Bye.